everyone. Welcome to the Kimberly Cloud Show. I'm your host, Kimberly Cloud. I have a very, very special guest here for the show today. Can you go ahead and announce to the world who you are and where you're calling from?
Hey guys, what's going on? My name is Joy. I'm the founder of Be the Difference Clothing. I am no stranger to the Kimberly Cloud Show. I'm thankful that I got the ability to come back again just to update you guys on a few things. So stay tuned.
Well said. Can you tell me about your updated past leading up into your updated present of what you do now with Be the Difference Clothing?
Okay, so in the past, let's see, because time has flown by, but I would say within the past year or so, I started doing Be the Difference Clothing full time. Everything happened so quickly. Um, we ended up acquiring a couple of printers so that we can double the effort, and an embroidery machine so that we can embroider and offer more services for the community. And I believe once I let go of the idea that, nobody wants to wear Be the Difference clothing, you can't be a clothing company brand and, print for other people. But the difference is that Be the Difference clothing isn't just Be the Difference clothing, your typical brand. So I find that the fact that we open the doors to be able to print for other people, the conversations, the connections is just amazing. And all of the people that I've been able to help bring their realities on t-shirts, on onesies, on, pretty much anything, whether it be their company logo or just, like a family reunion. Or even like one thing that was so cute that I did not too long ago. I met a preschool teacher and they were doing an autism awareness type of event for the preschoolers. And somehow, thank God to Google, she found us and we printed her shirts for her. And it was a great exchange. It was a good experience. And had I still had that mindset that, you're supposed to be in this one box, this one category as a company, I would not have been able to have that interaction or have met her or just seen that I get to be a part of a preschool that I drove by every day. And I always said to myself, one day I want to go into that preschool. One day I want to see what's inside. And that opportunity happened. So let that be a lesson to you that the things that you think you shouldn't be doing because it's not your norm, do it anyway. There is no right path except for doing the higher path, doing the better things to elevate humanity versus the other way.
How long have you been doing this? And not only how long have you been doing this, but how did you end up, like, what made you, did you just create one t-shirt through embroidery and say, you know what, this is something that I see myself doing for a while? How did it start? What's the story behind it?
It goes all, y'all have to catch the first interview, right? But I'll give you a little synopsis. So pretty much I was driving home from an event and I saw someone stuck backwards, like they were absolutely under some type of influence. And we're talking about wintertime, December, and it's extremely cold outside. So those two variations kind of just like broke my heart. And the pivotal point was I just immediately thought, like, when that person was a toddler in preschool, they had to be all laughs and never imagine years later this is how their life would be. And it broke my heart. And at that point, something inside of me, whether you want to call it God, the creator, the ancestors, whoever you want to call it, I thank them because they said, well, what you going to do about it? And that's how technically Be the Difference clothing was formulated. And here we are now. My mentor said, you know what, you should basically print your own stuff. And ever since then, I've been printing. So I've been printing for almost 10 years now, if not more. So, and people always did ask, like, would you print something for me? And I'm like, no, like you could buy something for Be the Difference. But I was looking at it in a one tunnel idea. And like, had I said yes to those people, maybe I would have had meaningful conversation and dialogue and life-changing things with them. So, I stopped and I'm now doing this full time. And thankfully, things have been consistent for the company. It can only get better.
Okay, and what what do you see? What kind of stuff do you sell for Be the Difference clothing? Do you sell just shirts or shirts, socks? And what do you see yourself selling for the future would Be the Difference?
So I always envisioned like a department store. So we have your kids section, we have your teen and adult section, um, we have your hat section, and we have your book section. So we have everything. We just recently started embroidering. That's an avenue we're still, learning and getting perfected in. But that's what we do. We like to inspire from infancy up. That's the idea of Be the Difference clothing. It's inspirational. And like, see, I'm wearing this. It says determined. And there's such a deep meaning to that. You see the little roadway. That's our lives. We're always driving somewhere. And while we are going in our lives, there's always going to be peaks and valleys and ups and downs because that's how mountains are and that's how life is. And at one point in our lives, we're going to reach here and get to see all of the things that accumulated for us to get to that point. And just know that eventually there may be a few downtimes, but it may not be extreme. And by that time, hopefully, we would have had all of the tools to be able to combat any type of negativity to the degree where it could have gotten us years ago when we first started. So that's what this shirt means. It's determined. It's simple yet effective. And this is what Be the Difference core values are all about.
Have you gotten any media press release attention yet?
Yeah, I mean, I've been all over. Just recently, we were at a Juneteenth festival at the PNC Art Center in Homedale, New Jersey. Shout outs to Juneteenth NJ. CBS Channel 2 News, I believe, up here in Jersey, New York area. They kind of did like a little cameo of some of the specialty socks that we have. Um, and the cool thing about our socks, there's only 12 of any kind. When they sell out, they sell out and they're never printed again. So there's a lot of facets about Be the Difference clothing that I think you find very interesting. I believe, not think, I believe you'll find interesting.
Can you tell us a little bit of creativity of what type of clothing? Well, tell me about more shirts that you sell to intrigue the audience that want to possibly buy that.
Okay. There's one that is always a great conversational piece. A paycheck is not a passion. It could go so many different ways. Like some people literally think of it as, no, I need a job. And then other people understand the true meaning where it was like, maybe they had a passion and they were passionate about something, but were too afraid to go after that because they figured, I need to get this money to pay my bills. I need to get this money to live. Like, listen, money is a tool that we need to have for our resources, but it's not our everyday and everything. I believe if you follow your passion, finances will come. And it doesn't mean that it may be an overabundance of it, but what is life? How balanced is life when you can actually pay all of your bills or pay all of your responsibilities and still be happy at the end and not feel like, oh my goodness, I have to do the running and the rigmarole to try to make somebody happy so you can get to this level in a position that you probably won't have for long. You know what I mean? So if you're passionate about something, how many days can you be upset? Not
Have you
that.
Well said, Joy. Have you ever thought about? I don't know if artificial intelligence is geared into the clothing that you make, but have you ever thought about using like artificial intelligence with the instruments that you use to make the clothing?
Yeah, I'm still trying to work that out. The RFTs, right?
I don't even know what an
Oh,
RFT is.
yeah. Basically, it's like a business card that you can insert in an apparel. So
Really? I've
yeah,
never heard of that.
and that's why I thought you were saying it. Yeah, yeah. It's a technology that is being used. I may have said it wrong, so all of you techie people out there, don't crucify me if I said it wrong. But you know what I'm talking about. But it is a technology that is not being tapped into just yet, and I am tapping into it. It's just I just need to get the material, and it's not new either. But it will be a game changer and another service that I can offer people who like businesses primarily.
Do you make light coats or maybe like well light jackets and or coats, professional business coats and stuff?
We can embroider on a like a blazer. We could definitely do that. I've embroidered on hoodies. We can embroider on anything. So it's just a matter of what your needs are and how we can help serve you in that capacity. And you guys can check our Google listing and see all of the reviews there. Um, I just ran it. Well, I just met somebody or over the weekend, and she, I guess I didn't even give her the product yet, but she already posted a review, and it's an honest review. I woke up on Sunday morning and saw this review, and I was like, oh, that really made my day, And that just goes to tell you, she woke up at 4 o'clock in the morning, and I was on her mind. Be the Difference Clothing, your representative, was on her mind, and she wanted to acknowledge the service that she had gotten thus far that early in the morning. That's got to say something. So that makes me feel good, and it just only makes me feel even more thankful that I decided to let go of the stigma that companies shouldn't be printing for other people. At least that's what I thought. So it was amazing.
What did you create for Juneteenth that may have not been created or won't get created again?
So basically, specifically some socks. I actually turned a t-shirt into socks. And the message was basically I put the year 1865, and then it was one of those things where you had to read from bottom to top. And it said, we built this country. And I actually designed it. So I had the roots and some hands with chains and a lot of blood, and this country on top with blood shed tears coming down. And idea is like, from root up, we built this. And it took all of our blood, sweat, and tears to make this country. Whether people want to agree with it or not doesn't matter, but that's facts.
That's it. And how do you come up with these creations, Joy?
I don't know. Sometimes it comes, other times it's like you just want to make a point, and like a pug, like a very, very strong, potent point that, it's almost scary to think that the kind of either praise or backlash you can get from it. But at the end of the day, I'm like, oh, well, it just came, so I'm going to put it out there. So I would say I'm inspired by, not being fearful to post whatever or do whatever comes to mind. And people actually like it. And then other things come from interactions with other people and things that I see. So I allow nature, circumstances, situations, and personal life to create what you see.
For the past decade, what have you created as far as Halloween go for the little kitties and kiddettes?
So I don't really do the holiday stuff like that. It's just Juneteenth I did, and I might do something for 4th of July. I try to stay away from those holidays, but sometimes I will if I want to make a message. But for the children, I put empowering things. Like recently, I created a baby face with a big afro, and inside the afro, seriously, it was so cute. It is cute. In the afro, I put born professional, born educator. born innovator, born visionary, like positive, impactful words that affirm things. So when mom or dad or cousin or sibling, whoever is with that baby, they're gonna read it to the baby. Maybe they'll put them in the mirror and they'll see how beautiful your mind is, and just to embrace your hair, your culture, your whatever. So I made that for specifically for the African Americans, for us African Americans. And um, then I have Born Leader. I was born to be great. I have My future is bright, and that one glows in the dark. So any other thing that may come to mind that I feel would be good for children, I will put that on a onesie, or I'll put it on a toddler tee, or maybe a youth shirt. So we're in that capacity. We are expanding and doing, because before it was just onesies, but then I opened up the market to the toddler tees because a lot of people were requesting that, and the youth sizes, because I don't want to leave anybody out. We kind of want to fill in the gap for every generation.
Well said. And tell me about possibly, have you ever thought about putting like famous people like Frederick Douglass on your t-shirts and everything?
So not the t-shirts. I would do something like that on a sock. Like
Okay.
um, I did this beautiful like monument, right? And instead of, the presidents on there, I went ahead and put like people like Masu Mantu. I may have pronounced his name wrong, my bad. Um, some of the notable figures, and some of the figures that are not as notable but did profound and prolific things. I
But you're
even
teaching your audience. You're teaching your audience about the ones that's not known like that.
True. And then I did a Black History sock. And I put known and unknown. I put some actors, I put some um politicians, I put a little bit of everybody. Then I did inventors. Then I did current Black women in business, socks. And these are like all under the Black is Beautiful line that I created for socks. So it's just, they're all sold out now, guys, but they're worth it to the point where I have them in a safe, because I said, God forbid, I don't want to wear them to ruin them, because these are like collector's items. You know what I mean? So the day that I pass away, I would believe those socks they are invaluable. And the fact that the creator died, they become even more valuable. And maybe they'll be like sold for more than what I could have ever imagined. Or maybe they would be put in a library somewhere, something where it just shows that, there were people who thought of others who weren't as notable or pushed out as much. So we have a ton of people that we showed a little homage to and respect to in that category. So I have to, I the fact that I like the socks, it helps me to stay creative. Especially with the Black is Beautiful line, is like there's so many different ideas I have to come up with. And there were times where I had to make 2 or 3 versions of Black is Beautiful at one time. So like, you guys keep me on my toes.
Mm, that's a good thing. And you always deliver. So
I
you know
try.
what I mean? And what is your theme colors, for Black is Beautiful? Is it a brown, white, and tan, or
I have red, green, and black.
red, green, and
So
black?
at the very top of each sock, it's always going to say Black is on the front, and then on the back Beautiful. And those colors are always in there: the black, the green, and the red. And then whatever theme that, or either a theme or a movement that is going on in the sock, um, that would go underneath it. Last one that I did was it was a Black is Beautiful, and I just put a big microphone there and a podium. And it's left up to your imagination what that means. But for me, it meant it's our time to speak up. It's our time to take back some of the things that we've let go and just let go by the wayside, like our families. We need to take back our neighborhoods. And I'm not and don't get me wrong, I'm not
Yeah.
trying to say it in a malicious way to take over. I'm just saying let's be hold ourselves accountable like every other culture does within their own selves. You know what I mean? Like that's what I mean.
Ha- I don't mean to keep throwing things out there. I'm pretty sure you've done this one already, but have you ever thought about per state doing like a state sock, like per politician or per slave prior slavery, where you do a slave somebody that was a slave that came out of slavery, sort of like Frederick. I'll just bring back Frederick Douglass, like how he came from Maryland, right?
Hmm.
He was so he you do a shock about him, and then maybe a sock about somebody from North Carolina that made it, sock about somebody from South Carolina that made it, whoever. Have you ever
Those are
thought
good
about that?
ideas. I've never thought of it, but thank you for the idea.
Yeah,
You
I would. I just wanted you to have it.
know what? You know
How
what
did
we
you
have?
get creative with it?
You know what we also did, like my parents are from the Caribbean, and for
Okay.
the longest time I never wanted to be that, oh, I'm doing this for this or I'm doing that. I never wanted to do that, but I broke down and I made some socks for the Caribbean. For listen, I just had like this amazing. So Bob Marley, I love Bob Marley, and what he standed and represented as far as what he pushed. His agenda was about love, and I made the sock of him. Like the artist that I work with is amazing. I just had his whole head on the front of the sock, and on the side it said "One Love." And because we know he's dead, on the back of the sock I put heavenly looking clouds and that whole scene and a bunch of guitars that he may have played. And that was my homage to Bob Marley. And that was kind of like one of the Caribbean socks. Then I did a sock with all the Caribbean flags. I did a sock with, where my parents are from, their heritage, where one, Dominica is known for bananas, Antigua is known for their dresses, and St. John's. And so I had a little bit of something. So now I have to create more Caribbean socks. And you know what I get now? Well, what happened to St. Thomas? Where's mine? What, you know what I mean? So like everybody ends up saying, well, that's not where I'm from. I made the flags, all of the flags on it. Well, where's my flag? And I'm like, when they turn the sock around, they're like, oh, okay.
And where do you see yourself going, Joy, in the future with everything as a whole? Be the difference clothing.
I want more people to have an opportunity to know my words. So I would like to see more people with my books, because I feel like the people who do read my books, whether they purchase it or just read it at the table when I'm at pop-ups, for some people it does make a difference. Like you can imagine the reactions that I've got. The most profound reaction I got was somebody was crying. Somebody was crying, and I was like, "Dag!" I said, "Well, sorry, I didn't know how to react to that." But I would like that, and I would like to do more public speaking engagements. As far as Be the Difference clothing, I would love for us to be able to reach more people and to print more designs for people. You guys have me on my toes because I started designing a little bit, even though I'm not traditional artist. I started designing a lot of things that I've created for people, for churches. I had to design because when people come to you to print stuff, they just have a thought. They don't always have an idea. I mean, they don't always have the actual pattern that needs to be printed, so you have to make that for them. So I want to do a lot of that stuff, and I especially want to give back to the youth, and also to corporate America. I would love to be able to be that bridge and that light to shine some reality on everybody. So in 2 years, Be the Difference clothing will be more national. Not only will I get to grace podcasts like you, but on a national level, maybe I'll have a real segment at one of our state news stations, and we can actually have conversation that won't get muted or edited. So I dare you guys. I guarantee a lot of people whose lives may be changed from our conversation.
Tell me some excerpts from your book.
Wow. So they're all quotes. Let me grab a copy.
Okay.
I always keep them with me. Because of the green screen, you may not be able to see all of the covers, but oh yeah, you can. These are all four. I actually literally have 5 books, but my second book was only available on socks. And once I sold that last pair of quotes from that book on socks, I discontinued it. So for those who were wise enough to purchase those socks, there's like 12 people in the entire world with different variations of my part 2 book. And when I say the entire world, there are people in different countries that actually own my socks that work with quote socks. So these are them. Anyone you want me to particularly look through?
The dark purple one.
This one?
The other one.
This one. Okay. This is my third book, and I'm just going to flip through. Oh, I'll read both. But the first one that caught my eye was I'd rather be effective than popular. Weren't we just talking about that
Yes.
with the news?
Mm-hmm.
And then this one right here was more of a personal one. It said, when they are walking in your direction, immediately hear songs, Barry White and angelic choir, or I don't know, the Fancy Feast commercial. But the theme song, Everybody Hates Chris, comes to mind as they beeline to the right. That was just a personal thing that I wrote down from a crush that I had. So if you can see that a little bit right there. So this is the kind of quotes that you can get in any one of the books. There are no duplicate quotes in any of them. They're all just based off of different things. Like this particular book, this was more of a personal one. This is my 5th and final book. I wanted to go to 7, but I don't feel like doing that right now. So this is my 5th and final book. This is my 4th book. I was big on at this point in my life, I was big on vision boards. I still am, because I believe we can create anything in our lives if we look at it and write it down and hold ourselves accountable to it. And this is my very first book. And I was just like, wow, this book is like 200 quotes in here. These other ones have maybe 100 or more, but they're still as potent as these other ones. So those are what you can get out of those books. And I feel like if it helps many people who actually buy the books, it's like, then why not? Why can't it help someone else? And nice to know, but there are some teachers who did purchase my book throughout the course of the years. And they say, I'm going to use this to read to my kids in class. And I'm like, wow, that's dope.
Yeah.
To know that a teacher thinks that these quotes are inspirational enough to share with their students, somebody else's child at a vulnerable age. Come on, y'all. That's dope.
It is. It really is. And I hate to say this, but how can the people reach you?
No, that's okay. We can always have a part 3, 4, 5. But if you want to reach me, if you want to stay connected, you can go on every social media platform at B as in boy, T as in Tom, D as in dog, LLC. If you would like to get any shirts, if you need printing for your own personal things, if you would like any of my books, you can go to bethedifferencellc.com.
Well said. Thank you so much. Stay on the line for just one quick second. Thank
Okay.
you guys for joining my show. You guys take care and be safe, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye.